Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. In today's video, we got a special guest with us. Mr. Jeff Powers is here. This is our good friend. He is my work wife at work. We met each other at work. He's a very, very good friend of ours. And we have him here for a very special episode. We put him through something that he will forever cherish for the rest of his life. And we're here to talk to you about that experience. And that experience is with the Star Wars Holiday Special. This is not, so disclaimer, this is not the holiday special that is on Disney Plus that is in Lego form. This is the holiday special that came out in 1978. You may not have heard of it because George Lucas does not want anybody to see it. And there's good purpose for it. Jeff has really strong feelings about it.
Well, my feelings are that it is something that is definitely not really worth watching. Maybe experiencing once with friends, but if you're on your own, it's not anything that's really worth watching or anything. But it's also not the worst thing ever made. It's just extremely boring and not at all as good as the movies that were made at the same time, you know?
Yeah, there was a very striking difference between the holiday special and the films. I remember growing up and hearing about this thing, but you can access it. I've seen it. It's on YouTube. If you know somebody that happens to have a copy from way back when, you can watch it that way too. But YouTube is the easiest.
I believe we got our copy from Etsy.
Yeah, you can get it from Etsy if you want to. We like to collect the movies, so you do have that option too. But some cool, interesting, all those good things about the film. You can notice, just like me being a super nerd of Star Wars, when I was watching this for the first time, I felt like to a point I had seen this film already, like the shots. And the reason for it is this movie was so low budget. There's a little bit of a solo cue in there. But it was so low budget that they actually stripped film from A New Hope and put it in this film. And then they just spoke over it. One thing that's interesting is in the beginning of the holiday special, they go through and they say whoever all the people are in the film. It's not like Star Wars where there's an opening crawl and they're telling you about everything. It's like the TV shows from 1978 where they're telling you who everybody is right in the beginning. And something that's interesting is all the people that are actors, they say who they are and they're playing them. But when you get to Darth Vader, they only say the voice of Vader, and there's a reason for that. It's because all his scenes are stripped from A New Hope. None of them are unique, except for one thing that's a little different, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time James Earl Jones was actually credited, right, as the voice of Darth Vader?
I believe so. Yeah, they flat out said his name in that one, which was nice.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that all the actors are listed except for R2-D2, who plays himself in this.
No.
Which is interesting because, yeah, Kenny Baker was not actually in the suit, I don't think. I believe R2 was actually remote controlled in the holiday special, and so that's why it's credited as he's just himself. But also, Chewbacca's family doesn't have the actors. It just says, introducing, Chewie's family. And those aren't actors. It's as if the Wookiees are actually real there. Yeah.
That's interesting,
Oh, sorry. The other thing is, a lot of it looks so familiar because the studio actually just gave a lot of those props and stuff to the people working on the holiday special to use. So especially in the cantina scenes and stuff, you see a lot of the same aliens and things like that. A lot of these same original masks were used. So yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces, and it does feel a lot like New Hope, at least from kind of a cosmetic standpoint. Yeah, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, did you want to say anything about the movie in general before we dish out what this is?
I think I'm ready to jump right in.
Ready to jump right in? Do you want to take it away?
All right. So I don't know quite how detailed we want to get because it feels pretty lengthy when you're watching it, but
lengthy. It's a 2-hour long special with commercials. which is
Yeah.
a lot to sit through for what it is, which is a lot of filler.
Yeah, the version that we got from Etsy, you can either play with or without commercials. I think without it was like an hour and a half. So kind of
Not
gives
sure.
Yeah,
you
when I watched it with you guys originally, the commercials were the best parts because you got to see all the old toys and everything, which was really interesting.
it was
Maybe
super
that's
the cult.
yeah. Maybe it's a little revealing that the commercials were better than the actual special. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. But so it's Life Day, which is their version of Christmas, Hanukkah, what have you. It's their holiday. Chewie's family, so he's got his wife Mala, I believe it's his dad Itchy, and then his son Lumpy. So you've got 3 new Wookiee characters who are just at their treehouse by themselves. I don't know how long the first, I'm just going to say 20-ish minutes is them doing their own thing in their own language that's not subtitled. So you just got weird random grunts and noises. So that was pretty funny.
That was George Lucas's
but
idea,
they
by the
know
way.
that
Was it?
Yeah, he wanted, from what I was kind of reading about, he had the idea to have like a Star Wars story that was centered around just a whole Wookiee universe, and he from his original thoughts, he wanted to have the Wookiees just talk in their Wookiee language. Is it just Wookieean? I don't know. That's a Jeremy question. What do the Wookiees speak? Kashyyykian?
I don't know. That's a good guess. I think they just say they speak Wookiee.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, literally the first 20 to 30 minutes, there's no talking. Because, I mean, it opens with the shot of Han and Chewie on the Falcon, and then it does the little opening credits, and then it cuts to the treehouse. And then there's no English for, like, literally a half an hour. You watch them just do random things around the house. And then I think Lumpy watches the little circus act, and there's no talking during that. And you're just sitting there like, okay, what are we doing?
well, you've got Chewbacca and Han Solo who are in the Falcon trying to get back to Kashyyyk for Life Day because Chewie's not home for the holiday. And so everybody at home is just trying to kill time or prepare for when he shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a couple things along the way. Like we mentioned, this was basically what TV shows were back during that time, and what that involves is just random things happening, kind of like the circus that Jeff mentioned that we watch for probably a good 5 or 6 minutes, and it's really nothing awesome, so to speak. We're still just trying to figure out, first of all, what's going on in this household and why are we watching this? What does this have to do with Star Wars? Especially with the like huge phenomenon that Star Wars was when it came out. But there is a little more to the story. Like eventually the Empire shows up and like blockades Kashyyyk, and there's a run-in with the Wookiees and the Imperials. But eventually Han Solo and Chewbacca arrive, and everything is cool. But
spoilers.
Oh yeah.
You've got this inventor.
Put the spoiler tag on there, Jeremy. Jeez. All these people waiting on the edge of their seats to watch the holiday special.
There will be in the title.
Okay.
You've got this this random like home inventor type guy, much like the dad in Gremlins, who just makes all these weird contraptions, who tries to kind of play peacekeeper between the Imperials and Chewie's family. So he's showing them all these ridiculous gadgets that most of them don't work so good. At one point, wasn't one of his gadgets the like VR system that they use for Itchy, which VR back in the 70s was, it almost looked like if you're a girl at the hair salon and you have the hair dryer come down, like it's this giant helmet.
Yeah, so that actually kind of plays into what we really want to talk about in the in detail for this video for the holiday special is we talked about how like there's these random things that happen. So we're going to kind of talk about, each of us talk about one of those things. There's probably at least like 9 or 10 that happened in the film. And that's actually a callback to when Jeff said like they borrowed a lot of set pieces. That's what these random things were. So like when he had mentioned that, like they borrowed the cantina for a cantina scene. They borrowed the X-Wing for an X-Wing scene where it was just literally in the background. We're not going to talk too much about the cantina scene, but it's kind of funny because there's a dude that drinks through the top of his head. That might be worth the price of admission for you, maybe. But
It's played by the same guy as the inventor.
Yeah, they kind of shuffle him in there.
And he also plays a chef in a cooking show that Mala watches, so he wears many hats.
So stay tuned for that one. But we were talking about the VR, and that has to deal with a little bit of what Jeff wanted to talk about. So do you want to start us off with what segment
you Jeremy, this is the worst thing to start talking about, but you know, we got to start somewhere. Listening to us try to like figure out where we're even going to begin with this is just like trying to apply logic to something that's completely illogical. So yeah, the holiday special. Yeah, I know. No matter where we start, it's going to be just awful, but whatever. That's okay. Yeah, so the holiday special was a variety show, of course. So that's, you know, what they did in the 70s, and they still kind of do them today. But, you know, the context of everything, back in the late 70s, there weren't as many channels as what we have today. And, you know, what went on were the big names, and they filled a lot of time with the holiday special, putting a lot of different segments in there that weren't really completely Star Wars related, you know, but they had 2 hours to fill. Yeah, so one of the segments was kind of this virtual reality thing that takes place with Chewbacca's dad, Itchy. And it's, yeah, like Sarah said, it's like one of the hair salon thing that goes over his head. But the inventor, I think his name is, he's played by Art Carney. I don't remember what his name is in the actual holiday special. He comes in and he's giving out gifts to everybody. He gives a gift to Lumpy and to Mala, and then he goes to Itchy. And I know that this is a family program right now, and I will try to say this very diplomatically and carefully. But it is essentially kind of a way for Itchy to kind of get his rocks off a little bit. He puts this little cartridge into the machine, and the way it's described by Art Carney is just like, well, Itchy, I know exactly what you like. Oh, just, you know, it's one of those. And I think at one point he's just like, and it's just so, wow. And so Itchy goes into this VR virtual reality wonderland. And it's Diane Carroll who shows up in this kind of great late 70s sparkly wig. And she's just like, oh, Itchy, I am your greatest fantasy. Only you can see me. And so we're watching through Itchy's eyes as this kind of weird virtual reality sensation thing going on. I can't go into the same adjectives that I normally would say for this. But it's awkward. It's very awkward.
Very awkward.
And she sings a full song.
Star Wars. I was gonna say, especially since Star Wars is supposed to be like a kids show, and then they bring.
Yeah, what is this doing?
What?
Something for the kids and something for the parents.
Definitely, well, because the kids probably won't put 1 and 2 together what that is unless they're a little bit older, but
yeah. But yeah, the song is not entertaining. Honestly, I don't remember a single part of the melody, even though I watched it last night. When it's over, though, Itchy looks very excited and very happy, so I guess it worked.
Yep.
What were some of the other musical elements to the holiday special?
Yeah, so the music is something that's very interesting to me because when I, you know, we were just talking about this before we started, when you think about like holiday specials, especially Christmas type specials, you're thinking about like the classic 50s, 60s, and 70s type holiday specials like The Grinch and Rudolph and Charlie Brown, and you're thinking about all the great music and all the great songs from those, and they get stuck in your head. The holiday special seemed to have put barely any effort into that aspect of it. I think there are 4 musical numbers that kind of stand alone. One of them being the Diane Carroll awkward VR thing. The second one is one of the trooper guys. It's not a stormtrooper. I forget what else they really are. He watches a video. What's that?
I think he's an officer.
An officer, yeah. Whoever comes and invades the house with the stormtroopers. He watches a video that's just regular, not concert footage, but like a live video footage of Jefferson Starship. All the kids love Jefferson Starship, back in 1978. Why not? And again, their song, I don't remember any of it. It has nothing to do with Star Wars. It's just one of their songs that they play. And then the third song is actually the one that kind of stands out from the holiday special, which is it's in the cantina, or some version of a cantina in Star Wars. The regular cantina band is there and plays, and we see a lot of the classic kind of Star Wars monsters, like the Wolfman is there, and you see like the Greedo mask and everything. So that's really cool. But then it's B. Arthur, and I think she's talking to Harvey Korman. He's the one with the hole in his head. And of course, all the kids love B. Arthur. She's a phenomenon. So you have B. Arthur, who later went on for her greatest role in The Golden Girls. Of course, she was her greatest role was in Star Wars Holiday Special, of course. So yeah, she sings a song about closing down the bar because the Empire has put some kind of curfew on the planet. And they need to close down, and everybody's a little angry about it. I think we can relate to that in 2020, things closing down. But she sings a nice little song. But again, it's, if this is a kids show, how are the kids going to relate to a bar closing? And I understand that there are adult themes and a lot of, classics. You think about like the struggles and like It's a Wonderful Life. Kids don't necessarily totally relate to something like that. But I think the B. Arthur song is kind of a highlight of the holiday special. If you're going to watch any section of it, pop that on because, you see all the cool Star Wars monsters. And the song isn't that bad. I can kind of remember a little bit of it. But after that song, the other major song comes at the end. Spoilers. Princess Leia shows up. Actually, they go to Princess Leia because they go into some kind of weird star and they get like transported through space.
It was trippy.
Yeah, it's some weird late 70s stuff that they're just kind of glossing over. And they go and they meet up with Princess Leia. She gives a long speech that's kind of a lot of words that without a lot of like meaning behind them. But she talks about how, the tree of life has blessed us all and everything. And she sings a little Life Day song. And again, I don't even remember the melody to that. It's very kind of, it's almost like a hymnal. It's kind of churchy and it's nice, and it's short. I guess maybe that's the big thing is that you don't have to sit through it for very long. So yeah, the music, holiday special, overall, not great. I mean, some of the standards of the classic holiday specials have very good music, and that's a high bar to try to hit. But yeah, you think about the best part of the music is the old John Williams score is still used in it. So you hear like the old, the regular kind of music from the movies and everything. And that still holds up, of course, because that's one of the greatest music ever made. But the rest of the songs, it's just to fill time, it seems like.
Yeah, watching your first time through, it's almost kind of funny of like, what's going to happen next, because you've got all these ridiculous things going on between like circus and then the virtual reality and then, all these different things. It's like, what more could they possibly come up with that's just so bad?
There was even a segment, I'm not going to go too much detail into it, but it was like talking about like a computer or something, and the guy was like he was like fidgeting, so it looked like your TV was broken while you were watching it.
We literally
I don't-
watch Lumpy put something together through like an instructional video. So we watch Lumpy watching an instructional video, putting together like a little computer. Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think you had talked about before we started filming, like we're basically just watching people watch things. That's not a movie.
Yeah. That is the
Another
strangest part of it.
Another scene that's just like that is the cooking scene, which is probably my favorite. We've got we've got Mala in the kitchen, and she's watching. Who'd you say the guy was?
It's
The
Harvey
inventor?
Korman.
Yeah,
Harvey
so it's
Korman.
him again. But he looks like a girl. I'm gonna say alien because it doesn't look like a regular person.
He's like in drag, but he has like this metallic face, like he's a robot or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's a cooking show, and so they're talking about making the bantha roast and like chop it up into bite-sized pieces, but only you know the size bite for your family, and it's just like so
You want to reenact the way that he looked at the film?
it's so extra. What part?
Do you want to reenact that part when he was like,
Oh, the once they get the stew in the once they get the stew in the pot, it's like whip, whip, stir, whip, whip, stir, and then another arm comes in. It's like whip, whip, stir, beat, whip, whip, stir, beat, and then she she tries to take a test and a taste test, and of course there's like salt and pepper in there, and so she's got 3 arms out at this point, and she's about to sneeze, and a 4th arm comes out to catch her sneeze, so she doesn't sneeze all over the food.
So actually, this is the first character that had 4 arms. Sit down, General Grievous.
But I mean, so it's another scene where we're watching Mala watch this cooking show, and a lot like Lumpy with making that computer, she can't keep up with the video. Like none of it is very relatable. She doesn't have the same size roast. She doesn't have all these other things that the person's telling her to throw in. It's just like Lumpy can't keep up with the person trying to tell him how to do all these complicated little wiring schematics, and so it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think Mala even yells at Lumpy to go away at one point during that segment. I was gonna say, what was it? One of the weird things about that was that you had mentioned, because we had said that in the beginning of this video that the first 20 minutes is all Wookiee talk and you really can't understand a thing they're saying. But when we watched it again, Sarah and I, she had mentioned to me, do you want to go ahead and tell them?
I don't remember what the exact points in the film are, but there's at least 2 points I could pick out where they said something similar enough that I could pick out the word, where it was like, please, where it sounds like please.
Are you saying that you have watched Holiday Special so much that you now understand Wookiee? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
At least 2 words.
Okay.
I want to say it was like please and maybe thank you or something like that. Do you remember what the words were?
It was thank you. It's like they're humming the words. Like Tin Man when he didn't have the oil on his mouth.
Say it without opening your mouth.
Yeah, just like that.
See, now you two can speak Wookiee.
There we go.
I think it was also ridiculous during that segment when they were whip, stir and stuff. The hair started to uncoil and it was getting all crazy.
Well, because the person was stirring this pot so fast, it's like.
That's going to be a GIF later on, Sarah. I think we're gonna make something out of that.
There we go.
Yeah, there is a good shot in that segment of Mala trying to keep up with it, and it's it's obviously a man playing Mala because she's about as tall as Chewbacca is. Peter Mayhew's Chewbacca, because Peter Mayhew is 7-something. So Mala is also very tall like Chewbacca. And you just see her just over the sink and just stirring really quick as well. All the Wookiee fur moving. It's a good little shot.
Yeah, that's one of the more memorable ones for me too, I think. Just the whole crazy show.
It's so ridiculous that's why it stands out. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, but this one I think just pushes it in a way that's ridiculous fun instead of ridiculous dumb. If that makes sense.
One of the things that strikes me from that one as well, like as well with the hair, is when you had mentioned that they said something like only you know your family's portion.
Only you know the size of the bite in your family.
Yeah, and they make their face so weird. They're like looking at the camera.
Oh,
like
because
she was having
only you know the size bite in your family.
yeah, it's like she was having, seizure or something. Or the camera was.
She was trying to wink, but it was just so obviously like
like someone that doesn't know how to wink is trying to wink.
She wanted to make sure it was caught on film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good segment. So we had the music's part of the show, and we had the cooking part of the show.
What was your favorite?
My favorite was the animated part of the show. In my opinion, like I know Jeff said, if you want to watch the Cantina, that's me. I'm all for the animated part. I feel like it's like one of the only parts that actually has like an actual story to it and makes sense. There's a story where I think Han and Chewie are looking for a talisman, like a mystical item, so to speak, and they go off to this planet. I don't remember what planet. It was just something random, and they run into this person that's, I think he's riding like a dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
And this ends up being our first impression of Boba Fett. Like nobody knew he was going to take off hugely, but there he was. And it's also interesting because the gun that he has in that show, that gun does not carry over into Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, none of that. But it does come back in The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian uses that gun. So it's cool to see, like, the holiday special isn't very taken well, so to speak, from Lucasfilm, but they are taking bits and pieces of it and, trying to make something good out of it. But the way that story progresses is this is their first time meeting Boba Fett, so they kind of trust him. He's kind of trying to help them out, trying to find this talisman. But what it turns out to be, this is the segment that isn't stripped from A New Hope, but we get to see Darth Vader in animated form, and Boba is actually double-crossing the rebels. He's actually working for Vader, trying to get the rebels to Vader, and then they end up having it back and forth there as well. Like, oh, he's working for Darth Vader, and then Han has his like squished up face. I don't remember what they did, but he was like strung up upside down in the Falcon or something.
It was something like, I think they had the talisman and it was like affecting only humans, because I think I remember a part where Luke runs into the Falcon as Chewie is like putting it into a trash chute or something like that, and he faints and falls down. So it's something that only affects humans or something like that. So he was strung up for some reason, because what happens is they both pass out, and for whatever reason, while they're unconscious and passed out, the best way to keep them safe is to string them up by their feet from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This is another segment where we're watching somebody watch this, because isn't Lumpy watching this on the TV or something like that?
Yeah.
So
like, Lumpy is watching it on like his own little like screen, and then we go into the screen, and then when Lumpy is like interrupted by another commander guy that comes over, it goes to commercial, and then it comes back and Lumpy is watching it again. So it's another instance where it's like there's that weird disconnect of like we are watching them do or watch something else, and it's just these weird degrees of separation where they really should have just made a cartoon holiday special. It would have just been so much better. Maybe it just wouldn't have made as much money though, because
this one was so successful.
I'm sure a lot of people watched it, I bet. I forget what was it on CBS, I think. I bet a lot of people probably tuned in with the success of Star Wars. And it was only broadcast that one time in the US, I think, but I'm sure it made some money. It's not like the budget was very big.
Yeah, I think it was only one time, and then they were like, never again.
Yeah.
But Jeff, you had noticed something about the cartoon style.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting.
So I did some very, very surface level research on just some of these ideas and where they came from. The Lucas had wanted the cartoon. Well, let me preface this with Lucas was not really at all involved with the holiday special. He had an original idea for it, and he had a few little things, but then it basically was disconnected from his studio and everything at the time. But one of the things Lucas did, I think, was he wanted the artwork style to be similar to that of an artist called Moebius, who was a famous French artist from 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. His artwork is kind of similar to what it is in the final product in the holiday special, but a lot of the color scheme, I think, is an influence. If you go and look through Moebius's work, a lot of it is very bright and colorful and very stark, contrasting colors and really good line work. And I think the holiday special is trying to be that. So just for a little bit more detail, how Moebius's work is kind of what influenced stuff like Blade Runner. That kind of Blade Runner is very dark, but just the setting and the scale of different things is seen in stuff like Blade Runner. He worked on films like Alien, and what would have been the original Dune movie. But yeah, the holiday special tries to do that, but it's like a knockoff kind of it. Like Jeremy had mentioned, like the way that people are drawn, it's almost like they have these weird kind of melty ways of moving. Like R2-D2's in it, and it's almost like he like is like floppy, and like you see C-3PO and his like head is separated from his body by like a little cord that kind of moves. And yeah, Han looks like he is melting, literally. It's kind of a weird way to draw, but it seems very unique. And at least the one thing that's good about the cartoon part is it is unique and a little memorable. That's the thing it has going for it.
Yeah, I know. When I saw that there was an animated portion of this, I was like, oh, thank goodness, is this going to save the show? Or at least the time that I invested into it. So I'm glad that they at least had something cool along those lines. Yeah. So that's the three that we were talking about. Is there any like other big things to talk about? One thing that I will mention is that some of you may have seen there's a GIF that floats around of Lumpy, and we'll throw it in the video here. That way, now you know where it's from. I know
Everybody
when
loves
we
Lumpy. Do you think
Everybody
Lumpy
loves
will
Lumpy.
make an appearance on The Mandalorian?
I would love that so much, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm pretty
We're
sure
going to
the
throw it
family-
out there. Hot take: Lumpy set to appear in next season of Mandalorian. You heard it first here.
Yeah, they will get a ton of subscribers for that. I do think they actually made it into the Lego holiday special. That is the
Yes.
new one. They didn't
Oh.
mention that's who it was because they
I
do.
forgot about that.
They still celebrate Life Day in that episode, and they're like, Chewie's family's coming, but when they walk onto the Millennium Falcon, because that's where they're holding the feast, they
It's,
never mention their names.
it's very quick. It's a pretty dark shot. I say shot like they were actually filming it, even though it's just cartoon Legos. But it's a fairly dark shot that's pretty quick. That if you haven't seen the regular holiday special, you wouldn't pick up who they are. But it's all three of them. It's Itchy, Lumpy, and Mala.
Yeah, like all the colors match and everything. Because like Itchy I think he's got like a white fur.
I was gonna say a gray beard.
Yeah,
He's got a gray beard on him.
and Lumpy's short, obviously.
Mala just looks like Chewy, but in a girl form, maybe a little bit. There's not a whole lot you can change because they only show from like Lumpy's bust up. They don't even really show their full bodies, I don't think. So there's only so much that you can see.
I wish they would have been a part of the Lego Advent Calendar for this year.
That would have been so cool.
They have put different pieces from the show in the calendar already. They could have put those in there. They probably would have been worth a lot of money down the road.
Maybe next year.
Write Disney a
Yeah, there's
letter.
always next year. I will.
Jeremy, do you guys recommend watching the Lego Holiday Special on Disney Plus?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Lego Holiday Special has a lot of good tongue-in-cheek comedy like Lego is known for. But it is way better than this holiday special.
Probably a better way to spend your time. Yeah. Just as kind of a final kind of note, I would say don't waste your time watching the holiday special alone. If you watch it with friends, it's more fun. But literally, like, I bet you if you watch it alone, you won't get more than 20 minutes in before you're just like, yeah, this isn't worth it. And just watch the Lego Holiday Special.
Yeah, I mean, myself, because like I had heard how bad it was, so I kind of sought out this thing, and I actually bought it, and I do not regret buying it because it is a part of Star Wars history.
It's become a tradition for us to watch it every year.
We watch it every year.
No matter how much how bad it is. It's a fun memory, a fun tradition.
Yeah.
But if you are wanting to hear more about the Lego Holiday Special, we have a separate video for that one.
Yeah, we can drop the link
as well
in the description below. Yeah, I would recommend it at least once. If you only make it 20 minutes into it, you're only going to hear Wookiee language for the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to skip around and fast forward some if you're not planning to watch it.
Anytime a musical number comes up or any kind of like holographic circus type people come up, just skip ahead like 10 minutes. You won't miss anything.
Yeah. Some other little interesting things that were a part of this that are just little snippets. I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill had a ton of makeup on for the holiday special. He did not look as he was in A New Hope. And if I remember correctly, the internet will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe while in between A New Hope and Empire, I think he had gotten in an accident or something where his face took a little bit of a hit. And that's actually what you see in Empire Strikes Back because it happened while they're filming. And my guess is that they covered that up with makeup and then, had to blend his face in some way to match it. But you can see that as well. There are other little segments too. We do see basically all the characters that we know and love from the original in this. So you will be seeing all of them. Unfortunately, they are not the highlight of the show. They do become a part of those miscellaneous things. So if you're expecting something like in A New Hope where the gang is together and doing something, you won't get that here. Just a forewarning. But yeah, it is what it is. It's the variety show, like Jeff mentioned. So if you're going into it, expect that. The Lego Holiday Special does not. That's actually a good cohesive story. So go and check that one out. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That about wraps it up.
Cool. Well, we're going to wrap it up here for the holiday special. Again, if you want to watch this, you can find it on YouTube and you can find it on Etsy if you would like to purchase it. If you can't find it on Etsy, there was one time where I went to look for it for somebody and it wasn't there. Just check back. It happens to populate. But we're going to go ahead and end it. So make sure to turn on notifications if you want to be alerted when some more of these podcasts come out. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. Drop us a like if you like this video. Drop us a like if you loved our guest here, Jeff Powers.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash it. Drop us a comment letting us know if you've seen the holiday special. If you have seen it, what segments were your favorite?
Or least favorite.
Yeah, or least favorite.
It might be the same thing.
Did you make it through the film? Who knows?
Yeah. Did you smash your own copy?
That could have happened. We might have thought about it at one point. But before we say goodbye, I do want to say thank you to Jeff for being on the show with us. Our
Thank
podcast here
you,
with,
Jeremy and Sarah. It was wonderful to be here. An honor.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back, especially if they smash that like button. But as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Happy Life Day.
Yeah, happy
Happy
Life Day.
Day.